guys, welcome to the first video of my epic Halloween series 13. I have gone big this year and I hope you love this series as much as I do. Subscribe if you're new here so that you don't miss a thing, and grab yourself a Vimto, settle in, because this first one has got a distinctly 80s vibe. The first step in this rather reluctant Demogorgon journey is to make the teeth. Now take some polymorph plastic. For those of you that don't know what polymorph is, it's little balls of plastic that you put in very hot water and it basically melts, and then it's malleable and you can mold it to whatever shapes you like. It then cools down and hardens and you're left with teeth or whatever it is you've made. So in this case I have melted the pellets and just rolled out a nice big sausage, flattened the sausage down and literally just cut it into teeth shapes. For some reason polymorph plastic just has this magic ability of kind of rounding off at the edges even though you've cut it into flat tooth shapes, so it ends up looking like these lovely rounded sharp fangs, and it's just amazing. And you will need a lot of them for your Demogorgon, so make loads. The eagle-eyed Stranger Things fans amongst you will notice that all our products seem to be caught in the upside down. Oh dear. Anyway, moving on, grab some craft foam from the upside down. Craft foam is wonderful for these kind of projects because it's lightweight and it's soft and flexible and just perfect basically. So the first thing you want to do is to create a template for all your petals so they're all the same size and shape. I just drew one out on a piece of paper and then use this as a template to create all my petals. I'm just using a sharp-ended plastic tool, but you can use a pen or a pencil, whatever you have to hand. Incidentally, I used a tape measure to make sure that they were roughly the right size and shape to fit around my face cast. Yes, the eagle-eyed ones amongst you will notice that that is a Forever Living tape. I did used to do Forever Living. Right, moving swiftly on. Right, now you wanted to create some bend in your petals, and the thing with craft foam is if you bend it into a shape it will not stay there, so you need a little bit of wire just to help you along the way. So just cut lengths of a thin and flexible wire like this and just tape it to your petals. Don't worry about it looking a little bit rough at the moment because all of this will be covered in lovely latex and paint and various things. If you have a face cast, you want to evenly glue the petals around the face cast, and by evenly I mean evenly spaced. If you don't have a face cast, you could use either one of those polystyrene heads. Just be careful because the heat from the glue may melt the polystyrene. If you don't have one of those, then you can always create a card circle roughly the size and shape of your face and glue the petals around that. It will all work out in the end, whichever method you choose. Anyway, so you can see here I've glued the petals around and then I'm just bending the petals into shape before mixing my latex paste. For your latex paste, you will need to grab some flour and latex from the upside down, pour some latex into a bowl and then just gradually add little bits of flour and keep mixing. Don't add too much flour at once because you'll end up with a lumpy, unusable paste, which I found out to my detriment the first time I tried this. But just add little tiny bits and just mix as you go along, and you'll eventually get a thick paste like this. And now you just want to start smoothing it over the petals and overlapping onto your face cast. If you're creating this with a wire circle or a card frame, then obviously you don't need to worry about overlapping. Just make sure that everything is covered. Now, this doesn't have to be too neat, because Demogorgons at the end of the day aren't neat, beautiful looking creatures. They're pretty revolting looking. So just spread it over there, and then just dip your finger in a little bit of extra latex in a separate bowl and just smooth it out as best you can. But don't worry too much, because it does not need to look perfect. Now, I decided not to spread tons and tons of latex paste all over the petals, because it would make them too heavy. So what I did was just concentrated the latex paste at the top of the petals, and then just kind of spread it out a little bit going down the petals. This will all be painted anyway, so it will all blend in and it will all look fine. Next, while the latex paste is still wet, you want to start sticking your teeth directly into the latex paste, as you can see me doing here. This is quite a time-consuming process, but it looks good in the end. Now, Beauty, you know me, I like to be honest with you, and I just want to say, don't bother with the step you just saw me doing. I basically mixed some paint into some latex and started stippling it over, and when it dried, it looked like this. Rubbish. So don't worry about that step, it's not necessary. Ignore that, ignore the fact that there's red splotches all over the petals. Grab some PVA glue from the upside down, dip some cotton wool in and wrap it over the edges of all the petals, just so they look a little bit more organic. Next, you want to grab some acrylic paint from the upside down and mix up a nice red wash. And when I say wash, what I mean is mix a bunch of water in with your acrylic paint to give it a nice translucent feel. Paint this wash all over. I'm not going to lie, it's a little fiddly getting in between the teeth, but it's unavoidable. You can always wash this off at a later stage with just a baby wipe or such like. Failing that, it scrapes off really easily with your fingernail. Now you see me doing another stage that I abandoned, which was to make a dark purple wash, but when I looked at the Demogorgon reference picture, I realised that there wasn't really a dark purple in the petals. So I mixed up a light purple wash and I just splotched that all over. You want to splotch it just to give it a more organic feel rather than painting it evenly. And the next thing I grabbed from the upside down was my alcohol paints to create this nice deep red, almost blood colour. You don't need to use alcohol paints for this, you could mix it up with your paints, but I just happen to have this shade already in my alcohol paints and I was being lazy, quite frankly. But you can absolutely mix up this shade with your paints if you like. Just use some red and a little bit of blue and a little bit of black. And I also then went in with a purple shade just on top of that to add a little bit more depth. Once the paint is dry, you want to remove your petals from your face cast using a little bit of baby powder or some flour to stop the latex sticking to itself. Obviously, if you created your petals on wire or cardboard, you can skip this step. Now you want to put your petals upside down on something soft to support it. I'm just using a parcel. You could put a rolled up towel in a plastic bag or whatever you have to hand. Mix up a nice light grey and paint the back of your petals. Full disclosure, I only painted the very edges of the petals that I knew would show in the shot, but if you're wearing this out for Halloween, you'll need to cover the whole of the back of the petals. You might even want to cover up that tape with a little bit more cotton wool and PVA glue. Now moving on to the application, grab a glue stick from the upside down, lather it all over your eyebrows and cover that with powder, and that makes sure that your eyebrows are nice and protected from when you glue on your petals. Hold the petals up to your face. Grab a lip liner from the upside down and just mark out where the petals sit on your face so you know where to apply your skin adhesive. Grab your skin adhesive from, yes, you've guessed it, the upside down. Grab a cotton bud and just put that skin adhesive everywhere where those petals will touch your face. This is where the marks from the lip liner comes in, because you know exactly where to apply the glue. Let the glue dry a little bit so it goes tacky, and then stick those petals to your face. Next, grab some latex and cotton wool from the upside down and dip pieces of the cotton wool into the latex and smooth them over the join between the petals and your skin. This has two benefits. First, it blends the piece into your skin, and second, it helps to keep that piece securely on there. Now, I'm just using a blow dryer to speed up the drying process because it does take quite a while to dry. Next, grab some face paints from, yes, the upside down and mix up various shades of red and purple to blend your skin and the latex into the petals. Just use the same tones that you've used in the actual petals themselves, and don't worry about being too precise. You want it to look organic. You don't want even layers of colour. Now, for the sake of the photos, I just painted my upper torso grey and shaded in some ribs, but if you're wearing this out, please wear a grey catsuit or such like, or you'll get arrested. Now, as an extra step, just add some extra black and red and purple or whatever you like into the centre of your face and onto the petals, just to ensure that everything's blending nicely together. You could even stick some extra teeth onto your face. I chose not to do this because the pictures that I saw of the Demogorgons, it didn't look like they had teeth in the centre of their face, but you could certainly take this extra step because it just makes the piece look a little bit more blended and just hide your face a little bit more. And as you can see, the prank worked. Poor Dustin. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, then hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and I shall see you next time. Love you, and I shall see you. Oops. Don't be getting in amongst mommy's stuff, please.